isa-isayin natin to. So we'll start with market sizing, no? Market sizing refers to the process of estimating the potential size of a market for your startup, whether it's a product or a service, no? So this is a very crucial step um, for startups to understand the opportunities and potential for growth within the specific industry or segment that you are currently in. Okay? So it involves a mix of qualitative analysis and quantitative data. So qualitative aspects or analysis might involve understanding your customers' needs, yung behavior nila, and of course, the industry trends. And then, on the other hand, quantitative data or methods may include yung surveys na ginagawa nyo, yung pag-i-interview, yung industry reports, yung existing sales data, and of course, other statistical techniques to conclude the market size. Now, in order for us to understand further what market sizing is, we'll have to delve deeper into what we call the infamous TAM SAM-SOM. So I'm pretty sure that you've brushed with these terms. No, so isa-isayin din natin to. TAM SAM-SOM. Very important to, guys, because when you do your pitch deck, when you do your pitch, people, particularly those who are able to fund you, whether they be investors or entities that provide grants, no, they will need to know what your TAM SAM-SOM is. Okay. So TAM SAM-SOM. First off, total addressable market or otherwise known as TAM. No? So this represents yung total demand for your startup's product or service. If there were no competitive constraints and the entire market was accessible. So it's the broadest estimation, no? So when you say total addressable market then, ito yung total revenue opportunity that exists within a market at a given time, no? Assuming that there are no limitations or constraints in the market. So it's essentially the maximum achievable revenue for a product or service if it were to capture 100% of the market demand. But that doesn't mean na kailangan nilalagay nyo dito Cagayan de Oro or Philippines. That is not right. That is not specific enough. That is not the TAM that we're looking for. Okay? That is too vague. That is too big. So when you say TAM, though it's the total addressable market, no, it encompasses the entire, again, potential market for a particular product or service, including all possible customers or users that could exist. So it's often calculated by considering various factors such as in the number of potential customers or users in a given geographical area, okay? The total potential revenue that could be generated if every potential customer, again, take note, every potential customer or user purchased your product or your service. This also takes into consideration the market trends, the industry growth rates, and other relevant data to estimate the market size accurately. Now, why do I say mali? Or, for lack of better term, no, sayop yun, if inyo butang diya Cagayan de Oro or Pilipinas as your term. Kasi for example, let's take into account Grab, no? Tapos Grab, kunwari Grab ang inyong anyway, not Grab. Let's head on to Angkas na lang para mas particular lo. So Angkas, no? Kunwari mo na inyong startup. It's a ride-hailing app, particularly catering to motorbike drivers, no? To get you to a point A and to B, okay? Now, kung ibutang nimo diya Cagayan de Oro, tibuok imong town, meaning ana, bisan mga ang inyong customer kanang gabayad no, customer o inyo or pay users. Kaya pila na kaya mga bata, ang mga bago ra gipanganak, ang dili ka baklay. Unsa pa ang tibuok population ng Cagayan de Oro, and that's not correct because definitely those are not at the people that you're targeting, no? So again, when you say total addressable market, you have to make sure that these are every potential customer or user na pwede mo gamit sa inyong product or service. Okay? So when you understand the TAM, it's crucial for you startups because it helps in assessing your market potential. No, it provides a comprehensive view of maximum potential market size, enabling companies to gauge the opportunity for your offerings. No, then there's also strategic planning. No, it helps it assists you in making informed decisions regarding the market entry, product development, resource allocation, and expansion strategies. Okay? So for example, Pilipinas, inyong TAM as Angkas, as a founder for Angkas Startup, inyong gusto is people, all Filipinos who are capable of um, using your app. So, kunwari lang, there's 16 billion people in the Philippines. Yung TAM ninyo for that is probably just half of it. Okay? So, 8 billion. Pwede Ano lang That's just an example. No? So, ganun yung TAM. So it's important to know that again, that TAM, your total addressable market, no matter how big it is, represents the theoretical market size and might not be practically achievable due to factors such as your competition, the market dynamics, the limitation in resources, and other constraints. So nonetheless, it serves as a crucial starting point for you as startups to understand the scope of your business, of your market, and the potential opportunities for growth of your startup. Okay? So, mo itong TAM. Oh, sorry. O, dito. So, next, when you say TAM, there's SAM. So, usually kapag pinoportray to sa pitch deck, mas dako ang circle pag palit ng palit yung circle. But for this conversation or discussion, I'll just differentiate it by colors, no? But again, TAM, SAM, SOM. TAM is yung pinakadako na circle because that's your total addressable market. Then the SAM is the middle-sized one because that's a serviceable market, available market. And then we have the SOM. That's the obtainable market. We'll delve into that later on. Okay, second one, SAM. No, serviceable available market. This answers the questions, what kind of portion of the market fits you, your startup particularly, no? So when you say Sam, this is the portion of the TAM that the business can realistically target, no? So dapat gikan sa TAM ninyo inyong SAM. It considers factors like geography, regulatory limitations, and the company's resources. Dili pwede na inyong TAM kay Pilipinas, tanan na pwede mo gamit og angkas na 8 billion people, that those are from ages 18 to 45 years old, no? Ganon. And then kalit na lang inyong SAM kay Bali. It's a different country, no? So it has to be, again, within the portion of your TAM. So it could be the Cagayan de Oro, it could be Mindanao, it could be Luzon, no? Depends on you. So again, this is a segment, SAM is a segment of your TAM, so that the business can realistically target and serve based on the resources, the capabilities, and market conditions that you're currently in. No? So unlike TAM, which represents again the entire potential market without considering constraints, ang inyong SAM, it narrows down the focus to a more practical and achievable subset of the market. Provided na you consider your current, again, conditions and capabilities and resources. So when you say SAM, this takes into account, again, various factors, no? First, binanggit ko na yun, geographical constraints. So this considers specific regions or areas where your company operates, no? Your startup operates or intends to operate. For instance, your startup might focus on certain cities or states due to logistical or operational limitations, no? So like I mentioned, kung ang TAM ninyo Pilipinas with a specific target market, yung SAM ninyo pwedeng Mindanao or pwedeng Cagayan de Oro City. Depende sa inyo. Okay? Then there's also the regulatory restrictions. Remember, Philippines has diverse islands, no? Though we have one government, each yung mga local government industries natin, maraming own diverse regulatory restrictions. So certain industries, particularly then, no, whichever you're under, or markets might have regulatory barriers that limit your startup's ability to serve the entire market. So you'll have to look into this. Compliance with regulations can dictate the reachable market size. Okay. And then, as I mentioned, resource limitations. So factors like production, capacity, distribution networks, marketing budgets, and of course, the workforce capabilities for the bandwidth of your startup can also restrict your startup's ability to address the entire TAM. Okay. So, with these factors, no, yung SAM ninyo, it helps your startups to first um, um, do realistic targeting, no? So it provides a more practical view of the market size that your startup, sorry, what happened? Sorry, wait. Apologies. Nag-trigger ng music yung ano ko, yung buds ko. So as I was saying, no, sorry, to continue realistic targeting, no. Uh your SAM helps with realistic targeting because it provides a more practical view of the market size that your startup can effectively target, allowing you to have a better resource allocation and, of course, strategic planning. Then there's also focus strategy. No, as startups, especially in early stages, this can help you tailor your marketing, your sales, and operational strategies to cater specifically to the identified, serviceable, available market. No? So optimizing your efforts for maximum impact. And last but not the least, operational efficiency. No? Yung bandwidth ng team nyo, ng startup nyo, yung current size. No? So by focusing on a manageable segment of the market that you're targeting, you as early stage startups can streamline your operations and allocate resources more efficiently. Okay? To summarize it, no, yung SAM, again, while it represents a more achievable market size compared to your total addressable market or the TAM, SAM still serves as a substantial opportunity for growth and revenue generation for a startup. So it's an important step in market analysis as it allows startups with limited sources to identify and prioritize segments where you can effectively compete and capture market share. Okay? So now, that we've differentiated what TAM and SAM is, let's head on to the specific segment of the SAM that a company intends to focus, sorry, to the next one. No? So, before we head on to that, I want you to understand what target market is then. No? Target market is a specific segment of the SAM that a startup or even a huge company intends to focus on based on its strategy, no? Capabilities and positioning. So it's a more refined and detailed subset. Pag sinabi mong target market, hindi pwedeng sasabihin mo lang na Pinoy, Filipinos, or ano ba, working Filipinos. It has to be more specific, no? So a group of consumers or businesses that you aim to reach with your startup's products or services, no? Several factors that help define a target market are demographics. This includes the characteristics such as age, gender, income level, education, occupation, marital status, and other quantifiable traits. There's also psychographics. These are more qualitative attributes related to the lifestyles, the values, the interests, the attitudes, and behaviors of your target audience. And of course, there's also geography. So, um, um, being specific with with the geographical location or area of where your target audience is situated or where the company intends to operate or sell your startup's products or your services. Okay? And last but not the least, behavioral patterns. Believe it or not, talagang iniisip to, no? So, understanding your customers, your intended target market's buying behavior, consumption habits, yung preferences nila, and of course, yung purchasing frequency of that target market, no? So, I'll give some few examples. For example, ito, Apple. Yung target market nila, very specific. Okay? Tech-savvy consumers and creative professionals. Yan ang target market nila, no? They narrowed it down na dapat typically younger kasi yung aesthetics, no? Higher income because they have to afford how expensive Apple is. Bawat ang Apple is you have to pay for everything, pati yung charger, yung cord. Yeah, I do know. Yeah, it doesn't come in a total package, no? And then they also have to specify that these are urban dwelling individuals, meaning young adults who have high income living in urbanized areas such as metropolitans or cities kasi may they need laptops for this. Most probable reason then is because these are business central districts. This is where Wi-Fi's are most accessible then, no? Psychographics. So again, those who value innovation, design, and user experience. Mag-Apple ba ka if wala kay pake sa value, innovation, design, and user experience? If gamer ka, mag-Apple ba ka? Dili, di ba? These are particular sa Apple kasi Apple also boasts of not having, if as far as I know, no, close to none, hindi sila tina-target ng mga viruses, mga ano ba, mga attacks, no? But not cyber attacks, but I do know viruses, no? Kasi very particular sila, exclusive sila with how you use. You cannot use torrent, particularly, no? Very, ano sila with piracy din. Yeah. Tapos there's geographic, no? Global ang target nila. So with a focus, again, in urban centers and developed markets. So ganyan ka-specific yun sa Apple na target nila. Okay? Okay. Tesla, another example. So we all know what Tesla is. It's by Elon Musk, no? So yung target market nila, early adopters, environmentally conscious consumers. Why? Because Tesla mainly or if not exclusively uses electricity, no? So they're into electric vehicles, right? So early adopters because these are people who are willing to take a chance to make sure that they put in less carbon footprint, no? All right. The demographics. Typically higher income, tech enthusiasts, and again, environmentally aware individuals. Typically higher income because mahal ang Tesla. And it's only manufactured in US, all right? And that's where you get it. Now, when it's exported to other countries, there are tariffs, regulatory restrictions, so it makes it more expensive. Okay? And then there's the psychographics. Those who value innovation, sustainability, and cutting-edge technology. So when you notice yung mga Tesla, the cars or vehicles, they don't tend to be they don't tend to focus on aesthetics, no? Very simple lang siya. It could be a piece of metal, but when you get inside the car, it's very innovative, it's sustainable, and it has cutting-edge technology, no? Okay. And of course, the geographic, last but not the least, global din sila, but often concentrated in areas with eco-conscious population and tech hubs because these are the target market that can appreciate and will most likely buy a Tesla. Okay? All right. So I hope these are good examples of what a target market is, no? So to wrap it up in terms of target market, uh, it's crucial for you to identify this because you get to focus your marketing efforts. You get to tailor your products or services to meet a specific need to a specific, very specific target market that you can enhance to their appeal and relevance. And of course, allocate the necessary resources and efficiently. And of course, yung competitive advantage, no? Because with this, you get to understand and cater to a particular market segment that can, by offering specialized solutions or experiences. Okay? Um, Another example that I can think of is for McDonald's, no? I wasn't able to put it here, but McDonald's, even though fast food chain yan, kahit saan nakikita nyo, di ba? It's a US-based market, but they also have their own target market. And it's, as far as I can remember, yung target market nila, it was very specific. Individuals who are working individuals between 18 to 30 years old who are ano ba tawag dito? Who do not have time to cook their food, mga ganyan. Or live in urbanized areas. Kasi nga fast food chain, people who wants to get their food fast, eat their lunch quick, and then just go back to work. And it's affordable. Okay? So, ganun yung target market. So, you have to consider all of those to make sure your sum, and then when you get to your sum, it's, if not perfect, at least, no, you're in the right direction. Okay. So let's head on to sum. That's the serviceable obtainable market. No? So TAM is the total attainable market. Yung SAM is serviceable sorry, nakalimutan ko din tuloy. The serviceable achievable market, I believe. And then the sum is yung obtainable market nila, ano, based on your current conditions. So it answers what portion of the market you're able to reach right now, no? So when you're a startup, of course, particularly in the early stage, you have to have realistic expectations. So to capture or obtain uh your sum within a certain time frame. So it's an even more focused subset of the market compared to SAM, yung sum ninyo. No? It represents the achievable market share or revenue a company or a startup aims to attain within the SAM. So SAM takes into account the company's strategies, um, capabilities, and market conditions to estimate the market share you believe you can secure. So it factors in the market penetration, okay? Um, because it considers the company's planned market approaches, the sales and the marketing strategies, and of course, yung effectiveness of the strategies in capturing a portion of that SAM. Of course, there's also the company's strengths and limitations. So you have to consider your startup strengths, such as, yung UVP ninyo or yung innovative approaches, as well as your limitations. So like resource constraints or competitive disadvantages. Now, some serves several purposes for a company, but we'll narrow it down to three. First, there's goal setting. It helps in, again, setting realistic and achievable targets for market share or revenue within a specific time frame and considering your current conditions. No, there's also performance evaluation, wherein startups can assess their actual performance against the targeted sum, allowing for adjustments in strategies and resources. And of course, last but not the least, resource allocation. No, so when you get your sum, you get to identify your sum, you are able to estimate your obtainable market share. Startups like you can allocate resources more efficiently and effectively to attain your goals. Now, to wrap up some, it's a very important, no? It's a valued metric for startups as it provides a more granular or focused target within your SAM. So remember, your SOM is from your SAM and your SAM is from your TOM. No? So, in a nutshell, SAM, dapat related yan lahat. SOM and SAM should all be taken from your TAM. No? So, when you track your SAM, then it allows businesses like you, startups, to monitor your progress and adapt your plans to optimize your market share or revenue within the identified SAM, no, the serviceable market segment. Then, again, if your startup is in early stages, tapping into the serviceable available market might pose challenges, no? So therefore, it's essential for you to pinpoint yung portion ng SAM ninyo that is feasible to target within a reasonable time frame. For example, kapag pinakita niyo yung roadmap nyo, gusto nyo within 2026, you will launch, and then that's the first half, and then the second half of 2026, you will attain your first 100 customers. Dapat yung SAM nyo should be able to cater to that, no? Because SOM, again, represents the largest potential market you can capture, factoring in competition, workforce, funding, brand recognition, and location that you are currently in. Yung obtainable market na kaya nyo. Okay? So, TAM, SAM, SOM. So, why does this all matter? Why are we talking about this? This encompasses market sizing, okay? Determining your total addressable market, TAM, your serviceable available market, your SOM, and serviceable obtainable market, your SOM, is very important as startups because it helps in setting realistic goals and devising strategies. It helps you understand the market size and potential, no, allowing you as startups to make informed decisions about resource allocation, market entry strategies, and growth plans. And then there's also, again, the resource allocation, the market differentiation, and risk mitigation. Okay? In the long run, investor appeal, definitely, no? Because when you have your TAM-SAM-SOM prepared, research, identified, and put into place, investors, you look into this, no? They often assess your startup's potential by evaluating the market opportunity. So when you present a clear understanding of your TAM-SAM-SOM, it gives you, your startup, a more attractive appeal to the funders, no, and investors, which because it showcases that you understand and know the scalability and growth potential of your startup. Okay? So in essence, when you calculate your TAM, SAM, and SOM, it isn't just about numbers, no? It's about understanding the market landscape, identifying the opportunities, minimizing risks, and strategizing effectively for sustainable growth. All a critical factor for the success of any startup. Okay? All right. Here are some examples, no? So again, this is how you present your TAM-SAM-SOM. And examples are placed here, like 600 billion worth of global headphones yung market. And then yung SAM is a narrowed down worth of 60 billion pesos, particularly for Bluetooth headphones market within the Philippines. And then the sum are 800 million people that are people willing to buy this headphones. So, example yun, another example. Okay, so I am gonna wrap up the topic on market sizing with this notion. Okay, always remember, when you are doing your market sizing and identifying your target market, be specific as possible and start small. Okay? Kung ano yung kaya ng startup nyo ngayon, kung anong kaya ng feature nyo, ng product, ng service nyo, start there. As a startup, it's part of your journey to scale, no? So don't worry about gamay kayo mong target market. You have to make sure that that small target market first works, no? You have to make sure that you're able to validate it within that small specific target market that you have, na your startup is in demand, that it is gonna work, that in the event or in the future that you scale, alam nyong naapailain mo palit, no? Mas naa-gyud potential in your startup. Okay? So mao to ang market sizing, TAM, SAM, and target market. Now before I head on to competition and its relevant topics, I'd like to open the floor for a quick Q&A on TAM, SAM. Any questions? I hope you're all still there because I can see here no one has their camera on. Okay. All right, so no questions. Okay, you have a question, Arnold. All right, Arnold, go ahead.
Yes po, ma'am. Malinaw po ba?
Malinaw naman, but you're echoing.
Yan po, okay na?
May echo pa din.
May
Alright.
echo pa rin.
Oh. But let's
Okay.
try. Sige. Maybe we can.
Yeah, okay na po?
Okay, I think so, yes.
Yeah. Actually, very fascinating po yung Tom, Som, saka Sam. Ang question ko lang po is simple. How we will know yung Tom, Som, saka Sam? I mean, are we going to have it realistic po ba or approximate lang?
It has to be realistic and of course, but definitely approximate. No, yung TAM, yun yung approximate. Again, when I discussed yung TAM, hindi, it's very normal na hindi lahat yan kaya nyong pwedeng maging target market nyo. Alam nyo, at least you know that that is the achievable market. But it's understandable but na not all of those are gonna be able to avail of your startup's product or services. Now, to determine your TAM, SAM, SOM, again, you have to understand your target market. See, why are you building your startup in the first place? Who do you want to use this? Okay? Ganun lang kasimple, no? So, kung gagawa kayo ng startup, later on, I think I will be delving into, do not fall in love with the product or the startup, the service itself, with the solution, no? The point of the startup, of your startup, is not just to create impact but also to solve something. So when you're solving something, you're solving it for someone. Now you're supposed to identify at least, no, a guess of it, kung sino yan, yung users niyo, yung target market niyo. Who are you creating it for in the first place? Okay, I hope that answers the question.
Yes, so much, ma'am. Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Any more questions before I head on to the next topic? Okay, no. All right. Going once, going twice. Okay. Let's head on to the next one. So this is competition. And kasama na dito yung advantages and the analysis. No. Very common, unfortunately, sa startups, especially when they pitch, no. I've met a lot of startups that who says, now, we're very unique, walang ibang gumagawa ng startup namin, wala kaming competition, or they don't even present a competition slide at all, because again, they believe that sila lang ang gumagawa ng ganito. Okay, that is very wrong. That's a very wrong mindset. Somewhere out there, someone is thinking of the same problem, is trying to solve the same problem. Okay? Nasa sa inyo na yan, kung sino yung maunang mag-launch, no? It could be a different solution, but again, they're solving the same problem. If maybe you're creating something new, you definitely still have a competition because you are going against the norms, the traditional, the old ways, mga ganyan, no? So there's always competition. So in business, when you say competition, this refers to the rivalry or contest between, the companies, the firms, the startups operating in the same industry or market. No? So it involves the efforts made by these entities to attract customers, increase nila yung market share, and of course, outperform one another in terms of products, services, pricing, quality, innovation, market strategies, and overall value proposition. Now, healthy competition can drive innovation, improve efficiency, and benefit consumers by offering a variety of choices. However, it can also pose challenges and pressure for businesses, especially for startups like you who are, starting up, to continuously improve and differentiate yourselves in order to succeed in the marketplace that you are in. Okay, so competition versus competitive advantage. It's related, but they're different. So again, competition refers to the broader landscape where there's multiple companies, startups vying for a market share, the customers, the users, and the profitability within one industry, no? An industry. So it's the environment, yung competition, where startups engage in healthy rivalry, striving to outperform each other in various aspects. Competitive advantage, on the other hand, is what sets your startup apart from your competitors. Okay, it's the unique blend of attributes, strengths, and strategies that allows your startup to outperform others in the industry you're in. All right, so ultimately leading to sustained success of your startup. So competitive advantage can be derived from the factors like yung innovation ninyo, yung technology nyo could be superior, no? There's also cost, leadership, mas mura ba siya, mas cost efficient ba siya? There's also the exceptional customer service na kahit mahal pero maganda yung benefits for the customer, and then customer first, nakikinig talaga kayo and everything. There's also the brand reputation, you know, how well you market it, and there's also most likely, you know, exclusive access to the resources. So this not narrows it down, no, boils down to unique value proposition. So you heard this from me earlier on, but moving forward, especially when you pitch in front of judges and investors, they're gonna look into ano yung UVP nyo. UVP stands for unique value proposition, no? So it's a concise and clear statement that communicates what makes your startup's particular product or service different, better, and superior to your competitors, no? So in essence, with UVP, yung competition again is the overreaching landscape within its business operate within where your businesses or your startups operate, while your competitive advantage is what enables a specific um niche or your startup particularly to excel and to excel and thrive within that competitive environment. Okay? Okay. So competition versus competitive advantage, that's covered. Now let's head on to competitive analysis versus competitive advantage. Okay. So competitive analysis is the who and what. Okay, it answers these questions. It's the ongoing investigative process. It is the tactical gathering of intelligence about your market rivals to understand their strategies, their strengths, and their weaknesses, of course. So, yung goal when you do competitive analysis is to map the landscape and identify the white space, which means yung needs na hindi pa nami-meet, yung hindi nasa-solve na problems within a problem nung certain market na yon, no? So, you can do this by um, comparison, no, like comparing what your product does compared to your versus your competitors. You can also understand how they capture value by looking into their pricing models, no. You can also look into the market positioning ng competitors niyo. How do they talk to their customers, no? When they market their product or their service, are they the luxury choice or the budget choice? Look into that. And then there's the customer sentiment, no? So you'll have to read into reviews to find out where rivals are failing their users and their customers. But that's where you can come in. Kasi if they're failing their users in a particular area, then that could be your UVP. That's where you make your startup better than theirs, no? So that's competitive analysis. So competitive advantage, though we've already defined what it is, but against a defining it against competitive analysis, it's the how and why. Okay, so this is a strategic result of your competitive analysis. No, it is the unique attribute that allows your startup to outperform your competitors, your rivals consistently. So if analysis is the research, advantage is the result, the moat you build based on that research. So the goal of identifying your competitive advantage is again to provide superior value that competitors cannot easily replicate. This is your unique value proposition, your UVP. Okay? So common types of common types of UVP or competitive advantage. As I mentioned, you cost leadership. You get to produce at a lower cost or you get to sell it at a lower cost without sacrificing quality, no? Another thing, differentiation. You're offering something unique or better. So let's, for an example of that is Apple versus Samsung. Apple is very exclusive. Samsung, on the other hand, though same quality and everything, hindi naman malami sila freebies, no? Mas open sila for programmers, people who are not inconvenienced by exclusivity, no, etc. Ganon. There's also the network effects, no. You have to look into the product, how it becomes more valuable as people use it, no. So, for example, Airbnb, no. So Airbnb starts is where you uh lease out for a short period or time or long term if you want, a unit, a residence or of private people, no? So it gets more valuable as people get to use it because there are reviews, there are feedback, people see that it works, that it's ano ba tawag dito, mapagkakatiwalaan. So that's the network effects, no? So very, very simple, no? That's what competitive analysis versus competitive advantage is. So let's just break it down lang din, no? The core objective again, competitive analysis, this is all about awareness, no? It answers the question, what is the current state of the market, no? Is it outward looking? You identifying who else is fighting for your customer's wallet, no? Competitive advantage, on the other hand, is all about winning, no? It answers the question, why will customers choose you over your competition? It is inward looking. It identifies the specific superpower or UVP that makes your startup better and sustainable. Then there's a time horizon after the core objective. In competitive analysis, it is reactive and present. Okay? It is looking at what customers just did or are currently doing. So it's a snapshot in time that requires constant updating. All right. Competitive advantage, on the other hand, is proactive and future. So it's a long-term structural choice. A true advantage, like a patent, a unique culture, or a proprietary algorithm, is designed to last for years regardless of minor tactical shifts from your competitors. Then last but not the least, there's utility in decision making. So competitive analysis informs tactics, no? Scenario, for example, your competitor A just lowered their price. So we should highlight our premium features in our next ad campaign. So ganun yung tactics nila. When it comes to competitive advantage, it informs naman strategy. Okay? So, we will never compete on a price because our advantage is yung alam nila hindi magko-compete on price because their advantage is faster delivery speed. Therefore, we will only target customers who value time over money. Okay, so they're not going against the pricing, but instead goes with faster delivery speed. Okay? So time over money yung strategy ng competitive advantage. Again, it's your UVP, unique value proposition. So to summarize, no, when it comes to competitive analysis, this should never just to take note, no, please, that this should never dictate your roadmap. If you only build your startup based on what you see in analysis, you will always be one step behind, okay? Playing a game of catch up. Kasi titingnan mo, oh, ito yung ginagawa nila, so dapat ito din ang gawin natin. Hindi dapat, okay? When you do competitive analysis to determine your competitive advantage, you should find the weak spots in the market and build your unique value proposition as your competitive advantage that makes your competition irrelevant. Okay? Or makes you better than your competition. So that is what you have to take highly note of. All right? You also should refrain from doing yung mirror effect, no? It's similar to what I mentioned kanina, kung ano yung ginagawa ng isa, yung din ang gusto nyo gawin. Hindi ganun yung competition dapat, no? Startups often, spend so much time on analyzing competition that they end up looking exactly like their competitors. That's not the point there. So, what you have to do is as startups, you get the opportunity to fix every gap the analysis finds until there is zero competitive advantage. So they can you can become a startup, a product or service that is not easily replaceable. Okay? So again, to summarize it, analysis tells you where the hurdles are, competitive analysis, and then the competitive advantage is the engine that lets you jump over them. So, competitive analysis lets you determine the gap. Sino yung nandyan? Ano yung nangyayari? Ano yung hindi natutusan ng mga problema? Which problems are not being solved? And the competitive advantage is how are you gonna make that to your benefit, no? Make it your UVP so that people will prefer your startup over your competitors. Okay. So that's analysis versus advantage. Now, let's head on to measuring competitive advantage. No? So this involves assessing various factors that contribute to a company's ability to outperform your competitors in the market. No? So when you assess your competitive advantage, this involves employing metrics and benchmarks aligned with your objectives and your achievements. So for instances, that's gauging market share. There's also customer satisfaction, retention, loyalty, profitability, and of course, your growth serves as indicators depicting your competitive stance. So some of the methods and indicators commonly used to gauge competitive advantage, are first market positioning. So analyze a company's market share compared to your competitors. So a larger market share often indicates a stronger competitive position. And then again, paulit-ulit tayo, never forget your UVP, your unique value proposition. So evaluate the uniqueness and appeal of your startup's products or services compared to your competitors. So look into your customer service, the feedback and market research. This can definitely help in assessing perceived value. We have startups in CDO. They have they had good um business models. They had a good solution, but they never listened to their customers. Okay? Because of that, namatay sila. Kasi people, if you do not listen to your customers and you do not see what's going wrong, what you have to fix, people are gonna stop using your product or your service. So customer service, feedback, and market research, again, helps in assessing perceived value. So never take those for granted. And then there's innovation and research. No? So you get to assess the company or the startup's investment and success in innovation. There's patents, there's new product launches, there's R&D spending, and there's technological advancements that can indicate your competitive advantage. There's also quality and service, wherein you evaluate the quality of your startup's products or services, and of course, the customer service levels compared to your competitors. So the higher the quality or superior your service, the better it can provide a competitive edge to you. Then there's also financial performance, wherein you get to analyze the financial metrics such as profit margins, return on investment, and cash flow compared to industry benchmarks on competitors. And then last but not the least, adaptability and flexibility. So this is where you assess your company's ability to adapt to market changes, shifts in consumer preferences, or industry disruptions quicker than your competitors. No? So combining itong indicators na I just talked about earlier, market positioning, UVP ninyo, yung innovation and research, quality and service, financial performance and adaptability and flexibility, when these indicators and regularly benchmarking against benchmarking, not marketing, against your competitors, this helps in understanding your company's or your startup's relative position in the market that you're in and the strength of your competitive advantage. No? So when it's important, you get to consider this range of factors because rather than relying solely on one measure, a competitive advantage is multifaceted and dynamic in a very constantly evolving business environment. Again, startup ecosystem, Pilipinas pa lang is chaotic, dynamic, eccentric, it changes, okay? Ang very constant sa startup world is change, okay? All right. So that's how you measure competitive advantage, no? That determining those using those factors. Now, how do you present competitive advantage when you do, especially your pitch decks, no? How you can present this part in a way that it's easily understandable. So there's this what you call a Venn diagram. I'll go through various charts and diagrams that wherein you can present your competitive advantage. First one, Venn diagram. So this allows you to clarify what your competitive edge is from the perspective of specific representative consumer types. So this is an example, no? Yung startup is N26. So the competitor slide for the Magic Leap pitch deck is a complex Venn diagram with numerous direct and indirect competitors in different categories to facilitate comparison and analysis. So when you use this diagram, this will need conversational context during the pitch meeting to communicate unique with differentiators with investors. Now, this is again conversational. So it takes a lot of time to explain bakit ganito yung Venn diagram nyo. Most of the time, this is not the diagram encouraged when you're doing a pitch, because when you pitch, there's certain time constraints, no? So you'll have to make sure that you're able to present your competition and competitive advantage concise, quickly, and clearly, no? So at least you know what a Venn diagram is, what it looks like, no? So you can use this when you have opportunities to sit down with investors for like 3 hours, mga lunch meetings, mga ganyan, or one-on-ones with potential clients or partners, no? All right. So another way to present your competition or competitive advantage is the competition matrix, no? Sorry. So it's based on the concept of a magic quadrant, a chart particularly with 4 areas of different values according to 2 attributes, no? So this does not apply if you have more than 3 attributes to present. Okay? In a competition matrix, always place your startup on the top right-hand quadrant, above and to the right of all the competitors. So this is the privileged spot on the matrix. And from here on, you can create narratives for investors. No? So in the example template, the attributes are affordability, visualized as inexpensive and costly. No? So yan yung first quadrant. Then there's the type of transaction. Is it online or offline? So the arrows or lines are values, value lines from one extreme of the attribute to the other, separating the 4 quadrants into inexpensive with offline transaction, inexpensive with online transaction, costly with offline transaction, and costly with online transaction. So when you choose the attributes to measure, you use a characteristic or attribute of your company that you know will rise above the rest. Then of course, it has to be 2 attributes lang, no? This will not be effective kung marami kayong attributes that makes you better, no? So use this, no, when you want to present 2 attributes of your value proposition or your unique value proposition to deduce attributes to measure and compare. So in this case, the value proposition is an inexpensive and online accommodation booking option for travelers. So that's Airbnb and hostels.com, no? So Airbnb at least gets to identify that yung main competitor nila is hostels.com. Si Craigslist and the rest, they're better than them kasi offline yung transactions, yung iba masyadong mahal naman. Okay? So ganun siya. Okay, the quadrant. And then there's the table, no? This is usually the main event of the competition section in a pitch deck, because it's with this data visualization that you can prove to investors that you really, really know your market, the competitors, and their positions in it. Okay, so this has more than 2 attributes. And then aside from the attributes that you're going to present, you are going to present your competitors' attributes then, no? So there are 2 ways to create a competitor analysis table. One with attributes, that competitors have or don't have, and the other with specific data per competitor. So this is an example, no? So the competition slide for a pitch deck by a lending firm called ClearBank uses this attributes table with detailed data to compare the brand to 3 competitors. So as you can see dito, no, highlighted ClearBank. They have 4 attributes that makes them better compared to their competitors, specifically venture capital, bank loans, and credit cards, no? So this table example has unique data per competitor, opening up the floor for conversation with the investors or potential partners. So with this table, they will ask and want to know how your company, your startup, no, brand, product, or idea will differ from the others, specifically the ones that you've uh specified, no, indicated, where the gaps you plan to fill are, and if it has a chance at making money. Okay, so Clearbank is the exact name, no, nung startup. But as you can see dito, yung target, sorry, na target, their competitors are in general yung VCs, yung bank loans, yung credit cards, no? If that's the competition that they have identified, provided that they could be because the first one introducing this. Now, if they're not the first one introducing this kind of solution, they could identify other specific companies, no? Another example of um competition advantage na ina-identify is not a particular company is when Uber launched, no? When they pitched their competition, they did, of course, they're the first one doing a online ride hailing with an app, okay, wherein people, private people uses their own cars for carpooling. Walang ibang ganon. But may competition ba sila? Of course, meron. They're competing against public transportation or like taxis, like trains, like buses, all right? So yun yung ganun yung competition when you do it, no? When you identify it. Again, there's nobody, sorry, scratch that. Again, somebody is somehow, somewhere creating the same, creating a solution to the same problem that you are trying to solve right now. Okay? So with that said, I'd like to cap off the competition topic that, again, you will always have competition. Never ever think that you're the only one doing that. If nga kayo lang, you're introducing a new idea, you'll have to look into maybe somebody has already did that before and they didn't work, and you have to look into why they didn't work before. And if not, maybe because you're going against traditional ways, or you know that you're ahead. So you'll have to prove to people, to your users, to your target market, how and why they should use your startup, no? Why they should choose your startup. Okay. So I'd like to wrap this session with this. This is very, very common notion, no? In a startup world. Fall in love with the problem, never the solution, not the solution. This is by Yuri Levine, an author of the Ways, an author and co-founder of Ways, no? You essentially fall in love with the problem. So this fondness significantly boosts your chances of success as the problem becomes the guiding force in your journey, ensuring your focus remains unwavering. So this enables you, if you understand and fall in love with the problem, it means you're open to changes, to pivot, and open-minded, no? So each day you get to evaluate your strides towards solving that very problem that you want to solve. But falling over head over heels for a solution in a startup will definitely lead to overlooking, the crucial aspects. Blindness to alternatives, and of course, ignoring problem evolution, yung customer-centric approach nyo din, no? So in essence, again, it's essential to value the problem more than the solutions, because it allows for flexibility, adaptability, and a deeper understanding of the core issues, which ultimately leads to more sustainable and adaptable business strategies. And remember, as startups, you are here, you exist because you see a problem, you saw who is suffering, and you are trying to solve that problem, no? It doesn't usually start with a solution. No, kasi if you have a solution, I mean, you have a product or service that's not actually solving anything, then you might lead or you might face a problem in terms of demand. No? But again, it really differs on where you intend to launch your startup. Because it's a different topic or discussion naman kapag your startup is into convenience in versus into being impactful and sustainable. So that's the topic about market sizing and competition, competitive advantage, and competitive analysis. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, the floor is open. And if you do have questions that you're not able to raise this within a session, I am open to a one-on-one mentoring session. I can provide my schedule to the CDO Bytes team. Doesn't have to be limited to this topic as well. As head of the startup development team here in Kubo Idea Space, and being in the industry for at least 7 years, so I should be able to give you enough ano man tawag dito, insights on how to make your startups better then, or how to support you, All right. That's it. Thank you so much. I'm sure once again, thank you for having me. Back to you, Mary, I think.
Hi, ma'am.
CD Bytes. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Shore. Guys, if you have any question, you may raise your hands or your virtual hand. Traveler. Okay.
All right, Traver, James. Okay. What is your question?
I'm sure. Good morning. So I just have one question for you, and this is actually quite related to your background as head of startup development. Wait, let me get my notes. What are some red flags that you see quite often with regards to the market size computation and also competitive analysis? Basically what your topic that you discussed earlier.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, yung not usual not marami namang red flags naman talaga, pero hindi mo ma-determine enough. But the most common one and talagang major red flag is, again, is if your target market, when it comes to market sizing, your target market is very vague. Yung sinasabi ko na, our target market is the Philippines. Major red flag na yan. Why? Because you do not understand. It gives off that you really do not understand your market size. You really do not understand how your solution is going to cater the target market that you just said. Again, kunwari kung angkas nga yung startup nyo tapos buong Pilipinas yung target market nyo, does that mean pati toddlers, riders na yan, gagamit ba sila ng app? Pati yung hindi maka-afford ng anong tawag dito? ng angkas, gagamit ba yan? You have to be specific when it comes to your target market. Especially when you launch in a certain area. So Pilipinas, you have to, because you're launching in the Philippines, you have to make sure that your solution effectively answers the problems of your target market. Okay? For example, if you're for example, kung ila-launch nyo ang angkas sa Vietnam, for example, Vietnam is a country that heavily uses motorbikes, and definitely pati buntis nakakapag-sakay doon, nakakapag-motor doon, pwede doon. Pero sa Pilipinas hindi. Yung mga ganyan na level. Kasi if you notice, if you read it, if you've at least used Angkast or Joyride or Move It, tinatanggihan nila yung mga elderly, yung hindi yung nakatsinelas, yung buntis, kasi bawal. It's delikado, mga ganyan. So again, if it's a major red flag, if you do not understand your target market, and that it's really, it's so vague that umpisa pa lang, hindi na namin alam kung sino yung target market nyo. Okay? So yun yung major red flag when it comes to market sizing. Yes.
Thank you
I
po.
hope that answered your question, James. Okay. Okay. Any more questions?
I think my question dito sa chat box, Ma'am Shore.
Ay,
And
okay.
according to Centropic Acceleration Marvin Monticelio, there are many aspects of our startup. One, medium-scale organic food production like chocolates, targeting consumers, and two, developing idle land to productive farms, targeting non-farmer landowners. Specifically regarding grant submissions, what is the best approach? Have two versions of TAMSAM, competitive analysis, etc.
Okay. So you have to it boils down to sino yung paying customers niyo talaga dito, no? Sino ba talaga ano ba talaga yung main ninyo? Kasi nakalagay dito, you're developing idle land to productive farms targeting non-farmer land owners. Are you making money out of developing idle land currently? If not, baka yung organic food production nyo, doon kayo mag-uumpisa. Yun muna yung tam-samsum nyo. So again, when you determine your market sizing, your tam-samsum, you have to consider your current conditions, yung current features ng startups nyo, kung ano yung capacity, capabilities, bandwidth ng startup nyo right now. Okay? Especially yung SOM ninyo. Pwede yung TAM ninyo is all idle land to productive farms targeting non-farmer landowners that are able to create organic food production. That can be your TAM, no? And then your SOM, your SAM mas specific. And then your SOM is that where you're gonna start off muna. Okay? Ganun siya. So again, you prioritize again yung sino yung magbabayad. And then what your current capacity is or your current feature of your startup is. I hope that answers your questions, Marvy. Okay. Other questions?
I think Sir Rick raised his hand earlier.
Wala, natuplogan lang, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Rick. Anyone? Baka may mga tanong pa po kayo. Don't be shy. Let's grab this opportunity with Miss Shore.
Okay. All right. For example, ito si Jules, for Crit, yung target market nyo, sabi niya 4 segments. So, can you tell me what is Crit? Kasi may event organizers kayo, may businesses kayo, may influencers, may consumers. What is Crit? Jules?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. All
Hello.
right. So, ano ang Crit? All right. Crit, yes.
Audible po ba, ma'am?
Yes, you're audible, yes.
Bale, Straight po, ma'am, is a marketing tool. So, it is primarily by business owners during those sales months. Paano namin ginagawa yun is through collaboration between three key players, which are the event organizers, the business owners, and the influencers. So, si event organizer, gagawa po siya ng isang event na magko-consist or mag-apply doon yung mga business owners. Kaya apply nila yung business campaigns nila, and through their business campaigns, meron silang makakagawa sila doon ng discount codes. And
I
yung
see.
discount code na yun is ibibigay nila sa influencers which earn through affiliate marketing. So yun po yung magiging collaboration niya and which leads eventually to a meaningful and impactful campaign na magtataas ng sales ng isang business during low sales months.
Okay. All right. All right. So correct me if I'm wrong, no? So this is a platform for collaborations, tama. But
So,
again, for yung segments mo. But based on what you said, yung main paying customers no are the event organizers because they're the ones who bring in the businesses who will work with them. So you can focus on that muna yung 4 segments niyo. Event organizers who can particularly bring in businesses to become additional paying customers of your startup then, no? And then you can narrow it down kung anong klaseng event organizer ba to. Wedding planners ba? Or medium scale, large scale? Or is it just local? Or is it or are these event organizers that are capable of doing events outside the Philippines, meaning they have businesses then na international that they have to coordinate with, collaborate with kasi nga kailangan sa labas ng bansa din yung event, no? So yung mga ganyan na aspect. So if you have a lot of segments, again, look into who is your primary paying customer and who will bring in the money. Okay? Who will bring in the profit, the revenue for your startups. And who is gonna primarily, ano ba tawag dito, benefit from your solution. Right? I hope Jules, from that ano no, very short description, I hope that gives you at least an idea, especially to the other startups here, no, on how you get ano ba tawag dito? When you determine market sizing, no. Okay. Okay, thank you. What's the pain point of target market? So this is from Gora, na startup van. Okay. Pain point, no? Ano ba? Marami eh. Oops. Natatakpan ko ba? Kasi, alright. So, when it comes to pain points naman, no, they depende talaga yan, no, sa competition analysis na mari-research nyo, na ma-assess nyo. So you can look into the financial pain points, no? It could be like it might cost too much, no? The productivity, the process, the support. Again, it is yung pain points, it differs for every startup kasi you have to look into the competition. So whatever results derived from the analysis that you get, that's how you determine the pain points of the market. Okay? So wala akong specific na may bibigay dyan na pain point kasi again, it differs. It really differs. Depende yan sa kung anong makikita nyo based on your analysis. Okay? I hope that answers your questions, Van. The new adopters will customize. Yes. Well, that is one of the ano ba tawag dito? Constraints talaga when you're starting up, when you're creating a company, no? From down up. That's why a lot of early stage startups really make sure that they're investment ready so they can take in investments or grants, no? And then nasa sa inyo na din kung depende sa startup nyo or sa product niyo kung where you want to focus. Do you want to increase your brand reputation? Do you want to promote ano ba, do you want to focus on customer retention because of how durable your product is or your service? So really it differs. All right. So I hope at least that enlightens everyone when it comes to determining your target market as well as the market size. Okay. Any more questions? Arnold from Trax.
Yes po, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, hindi po question ng sa akin. It's more on, ano lang, hindi naman din suggestion, kundi yung sinabi nyo kanina na about love the problem and not the idea ba yun?
Solution.
The solution.
The
Oh.
solution.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually kasi para kasing nangyari niyan is yung parang sa Amazon. Amazon started as a bookstore, but tinan mo sila ngayon, they're the biggest retail when it comes sa mga logistics and transport. So it all started sa books na gusto lang niyang i-improve yung but still ang point dun is that talaga dapat tayo mga starters, tayo mga innovators, we see everyday kasi meron tayong problem, but are we making or thinking of a solutions na to make it easy para sa ating mga target audience? Yun po. I just want to
Yes,
share.
that's correct. Yes, thank you, Arnold. Yes. So Amazon starting off as a online bookstore, no? Where you can easily avail of books. And then of course, they saw the competition. Hindi sila pwedeng, ang laki na nung na-invest nila, time, resources, money. They cannot fall behind. So they analyze their competition. The people are selling other products aside from, they understand that they can sell other products aside from books. So they have to scale up. They have to pivot their solution. Okay, but the 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 problem there, what that they're solving remains, no, that they're an online marketplace that can cater to everyone anywhere in the world for a certain price. Okay. Thank you so much. So any more questions or any more insights? Okay, so I think we're good with this session. Thank you so much again. All right, I'll give back the floor to the CDO Bytes team.
Once again, thank you so much, Ma'am Shore, and everyone for today's learning session. So, wait lang. Ano yun? So, allow us to formally express our gratitude. We would like to present a certificate of appreciation to Ms. Shoralia Macalbe for imparting her valued insights and expertise as a resource speaker during the Firestarter Learning Session 3, Market Sizing, Competition, Competitive Landscape, and Competitive Analysis under CDO Bytes Firestarter Incubation Program, held virtually via Zoom on January 28, 2026 from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And given this 28th day of January 2026 at USTP Cagayan Oro City, signed by the following: Branch Maverick A. Lorelia, TBI Manager of CDO Bytes, Engineer Alex Mariel, the Vice Chancellor of Research, Innovation, Extension, and Chancellor of USTP CDO, Attorney Junel O. Albina. A virtual round of applause, please. So thank you so much, Ma'am Shore, for today. And lastly, announcement muna. Before we end, reminding everyone of the demo day on April 17, 2026 and our next learning session on product pricing, launching, and marketing on January 30, this Friday, 10 a.m., 12 noon, and scan this QR code for our feedback form. And let's capture this moment. Oh my God. capture this moment together. So can you please turn on your cameras? Everyone, together with Miss Shore. Okay. Makakuan ka bang? Sige, ako sa i-unshare. Gora and Sir James, Potrak, kindly please. Ida Lance. Oh, wait. If you can open your camera for this photo op. Okay. Okay. I think multitask ang uban. So 1, 2, 3, smile. Another one. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you so much once again, everyone, for joining our session today, our third learning session. So see you on Friday. And goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much, Ma'am Shore.
Thank you, everyone. Happy lunch. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.